Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever found yourself just swimming in a sea of brilliant ideas,
Oh, absolutely.
but then you hit that wall, right?
Yeah.
The how do we actually choose dilemma? We've
Yeah.
all been there. Like endless possibilities, but always those limited resources, time, money, people. You need to cut through all that noise somehow.
You really do. Figure out what actually matters.
So today we're doing a deep dive into this really clever collaborative prioritization method that does just that. It's called the Buy a Feature Framework.
What's really fascinating about Buy a Feature, I think, is its elegant simplicity. It forces real, meaningful trade-offs.
Right.
It just immediately reveals what your stakeholders genuinely value, especially, when you're facing multiple competing requests and you've only got so much to work with.
That finite pool of resources, yeah.
It's about getting incredibly sharp on the true priorities.
That's such a critical distinction.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder, from your experience, does that sort of budget constraint actually make those difficult conversations easier? Does it give a clear framework, or can it sometimes, create a bit more friction at the start?
Oh, it absolutely makes it easier, in the long run anyway.
Okay.
Initially, yeah, there can be that moment of, oh, wait, I can't have everything.
Yeah, the reality check.
Exactly. But that feeling gives way pretty quickly to really productive solution-oriented discussions. The framework itself sort of becomes this impartial guide.
Takes the pressure off individuals.
Yeah, it shifts the focus from just individual wants to collective value. What do we need most?
Exactly. So for this deep dive, our mission really is to peel back the layers of this Buy a Feature framework. We want to understand its core mechanics, look at maybe some surprising psychological benefits, and most importantly, figure out how you, the listener, can use it to reveal not just what features people say they want, but the deep why behind their true priorities.
That why is key.
So at its core, Buy a Feature is, well, it's wonderfully straightforward, isn't it?
It really is.
It's like a mini marketplace for your ideas.
Yeah.
You give a group of stakeholders a limited budget, could be virtual points, play money, whatever.
Yep.
And their job is basically to buy the features or initiatives they think are most important.
It's surprisingly powerful for surfacing true value because it bypasses just asking, hey, what do you want?
Right.
And instead it asks, what are you willing to actually invest in?
Invest, that's the word.
Yeah, and it inherently helps you avoid those, bloated roadmaps where everything seems important.
And sharpens your strategic focus.
Absolutely.
So, okay, when should you actually pull this particular tool out of the kit? When have you seen it be most effective?
Well, it really shines in a few key scenarios. Firstly, whenever you've got that long backlog of features, maybe it's grown over time.
The never-ending list.
Exactly. And you really need a definitive, kind of data-driven way to get stakeholder consensus on what comes next. Secondly, when you're grappling with conflicting opinions across different teams, sales wants X, marketing wants Y, engineering sees Z as critical tech debt.
The classic battle.
Right. This method gives you a neutral ground to sort that out.
Nice.
And thirdly, it's really invaluable when you just need a lightweight, quick way to uncover those underlying value drivers before you dive into the heavy lifting of detailed roadmap planning.
Like a kickoff activity.
Yeah, it's a great way to kick off planning for a quarter, for instance.
Okay, that's a perfect lead-in then to the how-to. Let's walk through the steps. Imagine you're putting this into action right now. What's the very first thing you need to nail?
Okay, the foundation, like with any good plan, really is step one. Define your features.
Right.
You want a short, focused list, ideally maybe 8 to 12 distinct, well-articulated feature ideas.
Not too many, not too few.
Exactly. These could come from user feedback, internal suggestions, your backlog. The key here is clarity. Each feature needs to be easy to understand and distinct enough so people aren't confused about what they're buying.
Makes sense. Avoid overlap.
Definite.
Okay, got the clear list. What's next for setting up this marketplace?
Step 2. Assign a price to each feature. Now, this isn't real money, obviously,
Right.
but it's about reflecting the development effort or complexity.
Yeah.
You could use rough estimates like developer hours or story points if you're using Agile,
Yeah, common one?
or even abstract dollar equivalents. The main thing is the prices should feel realistic and show the relative effort. A big, complex feature should cost way more points than, say, a simple bug fix.
Okay, so relative cost is key. Now, on assigning those prices,
Yeah.
what's a common mistake you see teams make? How do you avoid, we're underpricing something and maybe skewing the results?
Yeah, good question. A common mistake is definitely underestimating the effort for things that seem small on the surface.
Ah, the hidden complexity.
Exactly. Or maybe failing to involve engineering enough in that pricing process.
Right.
So to avoid skewing, you really need to involve a cross-functional group. Get your tech leads involved early in the pricing.
Makes sense.
And be transparent about how you estimated. Sometimes we've even introduced like a minimum viable price for any feature just to make sure nothing feels free.
Oh, interesting. So nothing gets bought just because it's cheap.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Ensure some level of consideration for everything.
Okay. So features are defined. They're priced realistically. What's the next critical step for the participants themselves?
Then it's step 3. Give your stakeholders a budget. Each person gets a limited amount of points or currency. Let's just say 100 points to keep it simple.
Okay, 100 points each.
That's their total budget. They can spend it all on one big feature if they want, or spread it across several smaller ones.
Look that cool?
Vary. But the critical rule, the absolute key is, once they're out of points, they are out.
No borrowing, no extensions.
None. That scarcity, that constraint is what forces the genuine trade-offs. It stops them from just saying yes to everything on the list.
That scarcity really does feel like the core of its power, doesn't it?
It absolutely is.
And then I guess the fun part begins.
Absolutely. Step 4, let them buy. This is where it gets really, really insightful.
Okay.
You invite your stakeholders to look at the feature list, look at the prices, and start spending their points.
How do you usually run this part? Live? Remote?
It can be done lots of ways. A live workshop is great for discussion, but you can do it asynchronously too, maybe with a shared spreadsheet or a Google form, or there are even specialized product management tools that have this built in.
Right.
But crucially, as they make their choices, ask them to briefly explain why. Why did you pick that feature?
The rationale.
Yes. Believe me, that rationale often reveals way more than the vote itself. It gives you incredible insight into their underlying needs, their pain points, their motivations.
Okay, so when you're running these sessions, especially during that let them buy step,
Yeah.
have you ever seen someone's rationale just completely flip the group's perspective? Something totally unexpected.
Oh, constantly. Yeah. I remember one session, a product manager was pretty convinced a certain feature was like low priority, but then a support team member spent basically all their points on it. And their explanation, this anecdote they shared, revealed this critical, unaddressed pain point for a really high-value customer segment.
Wow.
It totally shifted our focus for the next quarter. Or, you might find engineers suddenly prioritizing a customer-facing usability feature over some tech debt item.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it reveals this surprising passion for user experience that maybe wouldn't come out in a purely technical review. Those are those aha moments you just can't get any other way.
Those sound golden. Okay, so they've explained why. What's the final step?
And finally, step 5. Analyze the results. Once all the buying is done, you simply total up the points each feature received.
Straightforward math.
Pretty much. The features with the highest total purchase value, those naturally rise to the top of your priority list.
Those are your winners.
Those are the ones your stakeholders collectively valued most, backed by their investment. They become your leading candidates for the next roadmap iteration.
Okay, to make this even clearer, let's maybe run through a quick example.
Good idea.
Imagine you're a product manager, right? You're proposing 5 new features for your app. Let's say dark mode, real-time collaboration, a mobile app redesign, Slack integration, and an advanced reporting dashboard.
Okay, common types of features.
And you've priced them based on effort. So maybe dark mode is fairly simple, say 30 points.
Right.
But that advanced reporting dashboard, that's complex. Let's make it 60 points.
Okay, significant difference.
And each stakeholder in your session gets that 100-point budget we talked about.
Got it.
So one person might look at the list and say, okay, 30 points on dark mode because users keep asking, and my remaining 70 on real-time collaboration because that's strategically vital.
Makes sense. Spent it all.
Another person, maybe they're really focused on data insights. They might just put their entire 100 points on that advanced reporting dashboard.
All in on one feature.
Yeah. And a third person might split it differently, maybe 50 points on the dashboard because it's important, but also 50 points on Slack integration to improve team communication.
So different strategies emerging.
Exactly.
And then when you add up all those individual purchases across everyone who participated, the features with the highest collective total points, they just naturally float to the top. So in your example, if real-time collaboration, Slack integration, and the dashboard consistently got the most points,
Right.
Those become your clear front runners for development. It's a very clear signal of that collective priority backed by a simulated investment.
The advantages really seem compelling here. First, it feels incredibly inclusive, right? It pulls stakeholders directly into the decision making.
Absolutely. Gives them agency.
Second, because of that limited budget we keep mentioning, it's constraint-based. It forces people to think critically, to really prioritize, instead of just saying yes to everything.
Crucial difference.
And third, it sounds remarkably insightful. It highlights not just what people want, but what they truly value when push comes to shove and they have to make a trade-off. Can you elaborate a bit on how that insight translates into, like, better product decisions down the line?
Yeah, the true insight often comes from understanding the relative value.
Okay.
When someone decides to spend, say, 50 points on feature A instead of spreading those points across 3 other smaller features, that signals a really strong conviction in feature A's importance. It's not just a casual vote.
It's a commitment almost.
Exactly. This qualitative insight, the why behind the spend, combined with the quantitative points, helps you understand the depth of the need and the conviction. That leads to more aligned, more impactful product decisions. It moves way beyond just a simple vote count.
Right, understanding the strength of preference.
Precisely.
However, like any powerful tool, it probably comes with a few caveats, things to keep in mind.
Always.
Yeah.
No silver bullet.
Right. So one limitation you touched on is it needs thoughtful facilitation. If it's not explained or managed well, it could get chaotic, maybe even skewed by louder voices.
Yeah, definitely need a good facilitator to keep it on track and fair.
What other pitfalls should people be aware of?
Well, another significant one is that it sort of assumes rational trade-offs. While it encourages them, some stakeholders might still vote, let's say, emotionally or tactically, rather than purely strategically.
Yeah.
Well, maybe a sales leader overinvests points in a niche feature just for one very large client, rather than something that benefits the broader customer base.
Gotcha. Short-term gain versus long-term strategy.
Could happen. And crucially, the basic version doesn't directly factor in technical feasibility or dependencies on its own.
Right. That seems critical.
Yeah, you could end up with a feature that everyone bought at super high priority,
Yeah.
but it turns out to be incredibly complex, maybe even unfeasible from an engineering standpoint, or depends on 5 other things being built first.
Okay, that's a big one. So for listeners who are, deep in product development already, what's your go-to method for layering in that engineering effort, those dependencies? Do you do it before the buying or during? Because, ending up with a top priority feature that's just unbuildable sounds bad.
Yeah, definitely bad. That's where the art meets the science a bit.
Okay.
One advanced technique is to involve your lead engineers very early, right in that pricing step. Not just estimating effort, but actually defining dependency costs or highlighting technical risks associated with each feature.
So bake it into the price, almost.
Sort of, yeah. Or sometimes we even introduce tech debt features as purchasable items themselves.
Oh, interesting. Make them buy the foundational work.
Exactly. It forces stakeholders to explicitly buy into the necessary groundwork for future cool stuff. It makes those technical trade-offs really explicit, right there in the prioritization conversation.
That's clever. Integrates that crucial engineering perspective directly.
Yeah, it helps bridge that gap.
Okay, great strategy. So to really maximize your results with this framework, what are your top, actionable tips?
Okay, top tips. First, make sure you include a truly diverse mix of participants.
Right.
Get design, dev, sales, marketing, support. If you can, even actual customers or key users. Different perspectives uncover different truths.
Avoid the echo chamber.
Definitely. Second, be totally transparent about how you estimated those feature costs. Share the logic. It builds trust in the process, helps people feel the pricing is fair.
Good point. Avoids arguments about the numbers.
And third, this is absolutely crucial. Use the results as a strong input, but not the only input.
Okay, not the final decree.
No.
Yeah.
You always have to balance it with your overarching strategic goals, the technical constraints we just talked about, and your long-term product vision. It's a powerful piece of the puzzle, but not the whole picture.
Right. It informs strategy, doesn't replace it.
Perfectly put.
If we connect this to the bigger picture then, it really sounds like it's about combining these diverse insights, stakeholder value, strategic goals, technical reality for truly robust decision-making.
Exactly. The buy a feature framework gives you that clear signal of what stakeholders are willing to pay for, metaphorically speaking,
Yeah.
which is a powerful signal of value that you often just don't capture in other methods like simple surveys or feature request lists.
Yeah, that willingness to invest part feels unique. And when it comes to actually doing this, the tools, you mentioned it doesn't have to be super complex.
Not at all. You can absolutely run this using simple spreadsheets.
Okay.
Or collaborative whiteboards like Miro or Emural are great, especially for remote teams.
Yeah, visual.
Google Forms can work well for asynchronous buying. Of course, there are dedicated product management tools, Productboard, Airfocus. Lots of them support this kind of exercise now.
Right.
But honestly, if you're doing it in person, you can go totally old school with sticky notes and poker chips.
Huh. Love it.
It's the method and the conversation that matter, way more than the specific tech you use.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the listener? It sounds like the Buy a Feature framework can really transform prioritization, turns it from potentially a messy debate into something meaningful, collaborative.
Yeah, much more structured.
It helps align stakeholders, it can expose those hidden priorities you might not have seen, and just bring structure to what can often be really chaotic discussions. If you use it thoughtfully, it seems like it could give you both clear direction and critical buy-in for your next product roadmap or a big project plan, or frankly, any decision where you've got limited resources and tough choices to make.
I think that's right. And the real magic for me of Buy a Feature isn't just in choosing what to build next.
Wow.
It's really in revealing the true why behind what matters most to your users, to your internal teams.
Getting to that deeper motivation.
Exactly. It's about understanding the very heart of value itself. And that's a principle you can apply way beyond just feature prioritization. It's about understanding what people are genuinely willing to invest in, whether that's virtual points in an exercise or their own time and energy in the real world.
Uncovering those latent needs.
Yeah, the things that simple surveys or just asking, what do you want, might completely miss.
That's a really insightful way to frame it, understanding the why and the heart of value. So for our listeners, how do they start thinking about uncovering that deeper why in their own contexts, maybe beyond just software features?
We'll just pause and think.
Yeah, think about where you could apply this kind of thinking today. Where could you create a sort of marketplace of ideas or options or priorities and let people buy into what matters most to them? It could bring a whole new level of clarity and maybe even alignment to your next big decision, whether that's for work or, heck, even for personal projects where you're trying to figure out where to focus your energy first. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and share it, with others who might benefit too. To learn more about product management and digital marketing, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss an update.